You walked in for one thing, a bottle of water maybe, gas for the car. You walked out with a bag of chips, an energy drink, and a lighter shaped like a skull that you will never use. You do not remember deciding to buy any of it. But the real answer to what just happened is far stranger than a lack of willpower. You did not fail at self-control in that store. You walked directly into a trap built from instincts older than money itself. Convenience stores look like an afterthought, a small box beside a gas pump, a place for people in a hurry. But look at the numbers and the picture flips completely. In the United States alone, convenience stores generate hundreds of billions of dollars a year, and the strange part is that gasoline, the product most people think they are actually there for, often produces the thinnest margin in the entire building. Fuel can run on margins under 10 cents a gallon. Meanwhile, a bag of chips bought for pennies can sell for $1 or more. The pump gets you in the door. Everything else in that store is where the real money happens. So why does a place built around low-margin fuel manage to sell you high-margin junk almost every single time? The answer starts with something your brain was doing long before gas stations existed. For most of human history, your ancestors were foragers, scattered resources, unpredictable terrain, a body built to notice food, fast, and grab it before someone else did. Researchers studying what is called optimal foraging theory have shown that foraging animals, humans included, are wired to prioritize immediate, easily reachable calories over distant, harder to obtain ones, even when the distant option is objectively better for long-term survival. Your ancestors were not lazy, they were efficient, in an environment where energy spent searching was energy you might not get back. Walk into a convenience store today and you are standing inside a perfectly engineered foraging environment, bright colors near eye level, salt, sugar, and fat within arm's reach. Nothing requires a decision tree, nothing requires walking down 5 aisles like a supermarket does. The entire layout removes the one thing your ancestors' brains were built to avoid: effort. This is not an accident. It is a discipline. Retail researcher Paco Underhill spent decades physically tracking how people move through stores, filming shoppers frame by frame to study where their eyes land and where their hands reach. His research repeatedly found that the products placed at what he called the decompression zone, the first few steps inside a store's entrance, get disproportionate attention because shoppers have not yet mentally adjusted to being inside the space. Convenience stores exploit that decompression zone ruthlessly. The candy, the drinks, the impulse items sit exactly where your brain is still catching up to where it physically is. Now add the checkout counter. You have probably never once walked out of a convenience store without passing a wall of gum, mints, tiny chocolate bars, and lottery tickets stacked directly beside the register. This is not clutter. It is the most valuable retail real estate in the entire building, and it is positioned at the exact moment your guard is lowest. Here is why that timing matters so much. Psychologist Roy Baumeister, in research on what he termed ego depletion, found that willpower behaves less like a fixed trait and more like a muscle that tires with repeated use. Every decision you make earlier in your day, what to wear, what route to drive, what to say in an email, draws down the same limited reserve. By the time you reach a checkout counter, especially after a long day, that reserve is often running low. You are not weak in that moment. You are depleted, and depletion is exactly when a $2 chocolate bar stops looking like a purchase and starts looking like a reward you have earned. Some of Baumeister's later findings on ego depletion have been debated and partially challenged by replication studies, which is worth knowing. But the core pattern retailers observed decades before any lab confirmed it was never really in question. Tired shoppers buy more impulsively. Stores did not need a peer-reviewed paper to notice that. They noticed it at the register, one transaction at a time, and they built the architecture of checkout lines around it long before science caught up. There is a third layer sitting underneath both of these instincts, and it belongs to behavioral economist Richard Thaler. Thaler's work on what he called choice architecture showed that people rarely make purchasing decisions from a neutral starting point. The way options are arranged, framed, and defaulted changes the outcome, even when the underlying choices never change. A convenience store barely gives you room to compare. There is no unit pricing sign guiding you toward the better value item, the way a large supermarket sometimes provides. There is just one brand of energy drink at eye level and a slightly worse one crouched near the floor. The store is not lying to you. It is simply choosing, on your behalf, which option requires the least friction to grab. Put these three forces together and the convenience store stops looking like a small shop and starts looking like a machine tuned to a very specific kind of human being. Tired, rushed, foraging instinct fully engaged, willpower running low, choices prearranged to favor high-margin items before you even glance at a price tag. None of this requires anyone in that store to be dishonest. The gasoline really is price thin. The employee at the register is not manipulating you personally. What is happening is closer to evolution being quietly repurposed. The same brain circuitry that once helped a human ancestor grab a handful of ripe fruit before a rival troop found it is now grabbing a bag of chips beside a gas pump, and the store did nothing more sophisticated than build an environment that lets that ancient circuitry run exactly as designed. There is a modern mirror to this that goes well beyond the gas station. Every app on your phone that shows you a countdown timer, a limited stock warning, or a single tempting item at the top of a feed is running the same three-step process. Reduce the effort required to grab something. Wait for a moment when your guard is naturally lower. Arrange the choice so the easiest option is also the most profitable one. The convenience store simply built this system out of shelves and fluorescent lighting a generation before software engineers rebuilt it out of pixels. So the next time you walk into one of these stores for a single item and leave holding three, resist the urge to call it a failure of discipline. Your ancestors survived by grabbing accessible calories fast, without deliberation, in unpredictable environments. You are not broken. You are foraging in a room engineered by people who understood your instincts better than you understood them yourself. You walked in for one thing. You walked out with proof that convenience was never really about you saving time. It was about someone else understanding exactly how your mind spends it.